Welcome back, YouTubers, to our WrestleMania 17 review as part of our WrestleMania review series with us, the British Fist.
Gotcha.
I am Mr. Parkin, of course, for this WrestleMania 17 review, and this guy sitting next to me here, no, he's not Dolph Ziggler, no, he's not Boogeyman, he's a crisscross of them both. It's NJ.
What's up?
Yes, indeed, and we bring this WrestleMania review, and the last three, actually, courtesy of WrestleMania Volume 3 Anthology, which is a very good anthology you guys should get. Subscribe up above, guys, like this video, and comment your thoughts. I'm sure you guys have many thoughts on this WrestleMania down in that comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said there, MJ.
Make sure you contact us in the link in the description box below.
It does really matters anyway. They can contact us if they want to. Just saying, I know what your line is now. So there we go. So WrestleMania 17, MJ. Before we start this WrestleMania review, just sum up in words as to what this WrestleMania meant to you, because I know this was kind of like I know it was for me, a kind of personal favourite of mine in terms of the era we were in and just what it meant to me personally.
Well, with me, again, over the years, obviously I started watching it earlier, but you can see the rest is progressing, so I got more into it more. The rest that I liked have grown into big stars now. This match has held a lot of big matches that obviously I was really interested in watching.
Yeah, I mean, I think this for me was the first WrestleMania I watched, and to me, this is why it will always hold a great place in my heart, especially with it being such an epic show. What I thought at the time, especially when I was a kid, I thought the show was some real epic, and I believed everything that they did back then. And you know what I mean. And also, this WrestleMania came on the cusp of WCW just going out of business. You know, the rival competition for WWE at the time. And this WrestleMania would essentially, in my opinion, signal the end of the Attitude Era, because it was the end of that WCW competition and what it led to afterwards, which was some shit. But we'll go on to that later, I guess. This is from Houston, Texas. The Astrodome, 68,000 people watched this, and we had Jim Ross and Paul Heyman on commentary, the ECW guy.
The thing I liked about that is, of course, we had Jim Ross, who was the face that everyone loves, and then we had the heel commentator that added his foot into the match.
Oh, he was always going to bash on WWE being an ECW guy, Paul Heyman. We all know he was bringing him in for the Invasion storyline, and later on for Brock Lesnar. We saw what good and bad this guy did. We started off this WrestleMania. Oh, by the way, the set. One thing I noticed is the set was so much more big league than what it was for the last couple of WrestleMania. Remember the set? The other ones were kind of average, but this one was like really out there. This is the first time we've seen that at WrestleMania in our review series.
Well, in the past WrestleManias, all the dark entrance and that, and this had all the lights and all the big firework and all full effect. Brilliant ramp, everything was nice and done for this WrestleMania.
Made it feel very big league. We opened up this match. We opened up this WrestleMania with a WWF Intercontinental Championship match between Chris Jericho and William Regal. I always wondered, like, especially back in the Attitude Era, why they always open with an IC Championship match, because the IC Championship meant a lot back then. Now you can kind of understand it because it doesn't mean something, but I would have had this higher on the card. But again, I guess Jericho was quite over. You wanted a really good way to start the pay-per-view. So this, in my opinion, was okay. It's not the best work I've seen these two guys do, but it's still a good match in my opinion.
It was an alright match for what it was. Again, William Regal, the commissioner, get involved in this, because obviously he wanted to get back at Jericho.
I remember that segment with him pissing in his tea. Oh, how funny was that? Mocking us British people.
It was. And the thing is, it wasn't the best match it was going to be, because it's William Regal, and even though he was a heel at the time, it just weren't the greatest matches, but it was an okay opener for us match.
I feel I can understand why it was an opener. If it was higher on the card, it probably would have got a lot more time and been a lot better. This is where I feel it should have been. But you had Regal focusing on the injured shoulder. Commissioner Regal at the time had it in for Jericho. You had the exposed turnbuckle. Jericho wins. When I look at this, I kind of thought this was going to be a better match than it was, but it was a decent opener with the fact that you had Jericho there, who's pretty over at the time.
The right person opening, I think. Jericho, big star, everyone likes, want to see him open up, but again, it could have been better later in the card.
After this, we got RTC, Right to Censor, Goodfather, Val Venus, and Bull Buchanan with Steven Richards versus the APA and Tazz with Jacqueline. That RTC's faction, God, they were such a great heel faction, weren't they? Because they could annoy the fuck out of you just with their fucking theme music.
Well, there's a lot of bad things about them. Obviously, they got involved in a lot of different storylines to get their character out there, and I think they did work well for the different.
It was another way of getting RTC on the WrestleMania card to get them more heel heat. Bradshaw gets the win in his hometown with the clothesline from hell. So the right person goes over here. It just seemed a bit filler, just a way to get them on the card, didn't it, really?
Again, the second match, it wasn't the best, but it was a tag match, so I'm not going to complain. I like it.
Yeah. Next we have, in my opinion, a match which I enjoyed so much, and I'm sure you did as well, MJ. Raven versus Kane versus Big Show for the Hardcore Championship. Now, I remember watching WCW in 2000, and Raven Hack, who was known at the time as Sandman, versus Bama Migla was one of the best hardcore matches I've ever seen in my life at Uncensored 2. I think it was Uncensored 2000. And then this came along, and I was kind of like, wow, they went all over the place. Broken windows, golf carts, you had the finish, which was fantastic. God, this hardcore match was so much fun. They went all around the arena in this one.
Well, this hardcore match, the backstage thing, again, with me being a hardcore fan, I like more involvement with other wrestlers. Yeah. But for the match it was, they went backstage, they had a lot of action, they had a lot of hardcore usage, weapon usage, and I liked it. The thing about it is that, of course, that's one of my favourite wrestlers in Kane. Big Show dominating as well. Raven running away compared to two big guys.
24/7 rules, for the win. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely better than that 15-man Battle Royal botched finish we got at WrestleMania 16, wasn't it? Much better than that.
Even though they had a lot more involvement of wrestlers, this was more easy to watch and fun and follow.
And you could follow it as well. So this was a really enjoyable match. I did like the little spots they had in this one.
Let me just make one quick comment about this. At the very beginning of the match, when Raven came down with a tree. A little limb. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. What the hell? What the hell? Comes down with a tree. Okay. Right.
In the next match.
Yeah, next match.
The trip for the tree. We get Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn versus Test for the European Championship. I always wondered why this was more higher on the card than that Intercontinental Championship match. I mean, Eddie Guerrero was a good worker, but Test really, especially after what they did with him, they brought him in very strongly, being the enforcer for the corporation, and then having him with that story with married to Stephanie, and they never really seemed to do anything else with him. And this kind of really showed that, didn't it? This probably should have been the opener, in my opinion.
He had the tag with TNA, which was interesting, but I think with this match, he was a wrestler that people liked. There were a few cheers for him, but I don't think he was that important as Eddie Guerrero.
No, I mean, there was loads of radical interference in it. I mean, the match was okay. It got, 8 minutes, but there was so much radical interference. It was kind of like, another overbooked finish in the Attitude Era. It was a little bit disappointing, wasn't it? But all that led to a fucking title belt hit. You could have done that a hell of a lot easier without so much damn interference.
It could have been, but again, with Perry Saturn involvement, I was fine. But then Demon didn't get involved. Again, maybe Eddie Guerrero didn't need this, but at the time, he had a group with him, so make use of him.
Perry Saturn was such a stupid... The fucking WWF ruined his character. I remember him being such a good character in WCW with his, what do you look at? Gimmick, and his address and everything was so awesome that they fucking ruined that guy. By the way, just a quick warning. If we spend a long time reviewing this, we're sorry, but we just love this WrestleMania. We could say so much about it. The next match was a lot better. You had Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. These two technical wrestlers were involved in that match at 16, and you could see that a guy like Kurt Angle was going to go up the card. These were two real good technical wrestlers. And the great thing about this WrestleMania is you've got a lot of variation, just like WrestleMania 14. That was such an epic WrestleMania. You've got a lot of variation here. So you've got the technical style match here. So if you were a technical wrestling fan, you got this match. These two always seemed to have very good feuds, didn't they?
The thing is, again, like the commentators did throughout the show, last year they had the whole Benoit and Angle match. They continued, so they've managed to have that feud still involved up to a year. And this match itself, Angle really wanted to get his payback on Chris Benoit after him.
Do you remember him putting the medals in his pants and all that kind of shit? Oh, that was some good stuff, wasn't it?
But the match itself, it was good to watch. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was a good match between Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. You could put them in a match and they'd always find a good match. That's the way I see it.
I mean, this was right in the middle of the card. This was a perfect place to put it. It's not, in my opinion, the best match I've seen these two have. I mean, I think because this was continuing on the feud, you have Angle win after 14 minutes with holding the tights. Not the best match they've had. They started off doing amateur style, then they worked into a technical style. I did enjoy watching this, especially being a technical wrestling fan of the variation and stuff like that. This feud continued and finished at Judgment Day in a 2 out of 3 falls match. So this was just there to continue the feud, but it's still a good match. If they ended the feud at WrestleMania, it could have been a lot better, and if they got a lot more time. But they wanted to continue the feud to Judgment Day.
Well, if it did finish at WrestleMania, I would have had it finished differently than that little roll that they did. But again, they continued it on. I'm not complaining, because they do put great matches and huge feud.
For the third straight year, the Divas match really wasn't that good, was it? I mean, Kurt Angle Benoit was a good technical match. Then you had Ivory versus Chyna, with RTC banned from ringside, because remember at the time Ivory was the champion and she was with RTC, and you had that whole injury angle with Chyna getting her neck broken with the spike pile driver, and then she tried to get the title of Royal Rumble and she aggravated the injury storyline. So this basically all led up to Chyna squashing Ivory, which I guess made sense at the time, because Chyna was such a dominant female wrestler with the bazooka. Oh, no, not a boobs, the bazooka.
The thing about this match, it was short, but again, China coming to get a championship, it was something big for her, and it was at WrestleMania, so it was a good match for China. Ivory,
And China would, I don't think, ever really be as high as she was in the WWE. I think after this she left and really couldn't find herself after this. So this was kind of like her sort of swan song, I guess, but she didn't really do too much after this. Moving on swiftly though, China's special moment. We get to Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon. In a street fight with the special guest referee Mick Foley. God, there was so much surrounding this. You had the McMahons getting divorced, Vince and Linda. You had Linda in a coma. Shane McMahon buying WCW from the clips of his dad because he wanted to get it. He wanted to buy WCW at WrestleMania. So they incorporated the whole WCW thing into it, and Shane McMahon trying to get one up on his dad. This match was. I really liked this match. I mean, it wasn't great technically, but the story it told was. Oh, I love this story.
Even the McMahons reunited last year. They broke up with this, and you can see how much things change over a year. And the way this match went, it was a match that was needing to happen because they both had this big controversy, problem against each other.
Leading on to the alliance angle that they did with Shane essentially versus Vince. This match told a great story. It wasn't the best technical match, but that's not what you're expecting this. You expect great storytelling, great drama. Yes, there was some overbooking in it, but it was a really good blow-off match to please the crowd because you had Linda McMahon getting up from her coma and kicking Vince in the nads, and then you had the coast-to-coast with Shane winning, as well as Shane going through the announcers table as well. So there was some. This was a good match, I thought. You
had a lot of involvement. Steph and Trish fighting. You had Mick Foley
beating on Vince.
So a lot was going on. Yeah. So this match actually does come to a complete finish with Shane winning.
It's the kind of thing you expect with the McMahons, though, isn't it? Really. I mean, it was a good match. You got 14 minutes, so I did enjoy this match. And then we get onto another great match at WrestleMania 16. These guys had a 22-minute triple threat ladder match, which was the best match on the pay-per-view in my opinion. And we saw from then on how they did some great stuff with that ladder match. They had the TLC match at SummerSlam 2000, the first one of its kind, and then they did TLC 2. I love this match. This was fucking fantastic. We got ladders last year, then this year we got more. This was so much better than that ladder match they had, even though that match was good. This match was better, just because they decided so much more variation in what they could do.
Well, with it being TLC, I did like the concept. It was very interesting. You had the right wrestlers in this match, and the way they all worked well together, did all these great spots. It made the match so much more interesting than just a plain match like last year.
I'm not taking anything away from the ladder match.
No,
that ladder match was the match of the pay-per-view, but this was a highlight of WrestleMania, only to be outdone, in my opinion, by the main event. You had Rhino in there, and fucking Paul Heyman going, go, Rhino, the star, the man beast. Like, you could tell they were both WCW related. You also had Lita and Spike interfere in there, which was,
Spike definitely.
Fucking Lita taking her shirt off and getting 3D. Oh god, these three tag teams had so much great chemistry together, and it was showed in this match with so much spots. The spears from the ladder, from Jeff hanging from the belt, the swanton bomb off the big ladder, going through the two tables. This was better, in my opinion, the second best match on the card, and better than the TLC at SummerSlam.
They made great use of weapons, which you do expect from this match. And again, I can't really fault this match because the right guys, when I felt, they all performed well. It could have many people trying to get the belts. Yeah. So it could have gone either way, but the right people were in the match.
Edge and Christian win, but they always seem to win these matches. I would like to if maybe they have Hardys or Dudleys win one of these, but I don't know. Edge and Christian, the match was great, so I'm not going to complain about that. That is literally just me nitpicking the fuck out of it. So a great match. I really can't say anything more. It was a great TLC match. And then we get the Gimmick Battle Royal. If you were an old school fan, you loved this, and I love myself a bit of old school. You had Gene Okerlund and Bobby Heenan on commentary. Bit different than Paul Heyman and Jim Ross, but it was still awesome, wasn't it? You notice how when they all came out, God, you had so many unique characters like Doink the Clown and Tugboat and Earthquake and,
Jim Cornette.
Oh, Jim Cornette was in there. Brother Love was in there, the head booker of TNA now. God, so many characters in there. Doink the Clowns. Oh, God.
And the match itself, again, it was quick, got the point, everyone was getting eliminated like that, and it came down to the Iron Sheik and
Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, like I said, there were so many unique characters there. It wasn't the best match at all, but it was mostly about getting the pops from the entrance and bringing back these old school guys for another WrestleMania moment. Like you said, you had Iron Sheik winning, and then after the match you had Slaughter hitting the Cobra Clutch on Iron Sheik. It was an interesting segment. So it was something for the old school fans, I guess. This is what I mean about the variation. You have great technical wrestling, great spot fest, great drama, something for the old school fans. A lot of variation on this card.
But the way I see it, the importance of was the rest of the show, so this way it got so short amount of time, but it was just there for the fans to see the legend.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a sort of celebrity appearance or someone playing music. Which we got in this next match. Undertaker versus Triple H. You had the Dead Man Taker here on his bike, of course. Remember all that when he wasn't the dark Undertaker anymore. And the whole story surrounding this was about Triple H had beaten everybody, but he'd never beaten Taker before. And this was really when they first started acknowledging, in my opinion, that he had some kind of streak going, or else they would probably have Triple H win this, to be honest.
Very true. And the thing about this match, again, I wasn't really a fan of the Taker gimmick at this time. When you think of Taker, you think of the Dead Man, so you think of all the ministry thing. But for this motorcycle guy, it was different. The thing is, I think Triple H could have won this if as Dan said, the streak weren't to be created to be done.
Apparently, the story is that Triple H was going to win the match, but Shawn Michaels, something happened to Shawn Michaels and he couldn't do his run-in, so they had Undertaker win because of that. That's the story that goes around. But to be honest with you, we saw how great the streak becomes, so it's probably best for business the fact that Undertaker did win this, because the streak became a massive marketability thing for WWE. So in my opinion, Taker winning this was the right thing.
Well, with Taker winning this, there was a lot going on in the match. So through the audience, upon near the camera bit, a lot was going on. But the thing I noticed about this match is that the referees were quite weak,
Yeah, they was knocked out for about too much. You had Motorhead singing the game live, that was pretty good. I mean, this basically turned into a street fight, and this is what I mean, again, about variation. You had a great brawl between these two, went all around the arena. You had Undertaker chokeslamming Triple H off that stage thing where the TV set was. Great brawl. I don't think this match is as good as WrestleMania 27, but it was still a really good brawl right before that main event. Perfect place on this card for Undertaker versus Triple H in a match of that caliber.
Well, with the match that had the build-up towards this match, it was in the right place, I think. So it was a match that, again, Taker fans, Triple H fans were looking forward to this. The match itself did not disappoint. It was a great match, so I can't complain. The match just did the right thing. None of them looked weak, and they both used their smart moves in the match.
Indeed, yeah, so a good match there. Then we go into this main event. God, if we didn't already have enough in our plate. We had Steve Austin versus The Rock in a no DQ match for the WWF Championship. Where do we start with this, really? You had Austin winning the Rumble, Rock winning the title of No Way Out against Kurt Angle, which was the right move to do, in my opinion. Austin was returning from the injury at the time, which kept him out for about 2000. 2 stars of the Attitude Era going at it for the second time. I mean, what more could you expect from a WrestleMania main event? The 2 biggest stars of the Attitude Era going at it, again. And what an epic match this was.
And the thing about this match is that they both played to their strengths, and that it was not like either one of them looked weak. They just went at it. Rock bottom, Stone Cold Stunners, both did each other's moves. It built up to a match where it could have gone either way, so I was really satisfied on how well this match did for the second time.
Watching this, when I watched this when I was a kid, I remember really liking this match. And sometimes when you go back and watch these matches, you sometimes remember it being not as good. But this one was as good as I remembered it, and it was a real great dramatic way to end the pay-per-view itself. A great match between these two, doing each other's finishes. Everything seemed to happen in this match. 2 biggest stars of the Attitude Era going at it. And talking about everything that happened, NJ, what about that finish? Vince McMahon comes out and helps Austin to win the championship. Now, a couple of things about this. It was a swerve, and you kind of expected that from WrestleMania. The match was good. The swerve was interesting. But goddamn, I never liked Austin after this match. A heel Austin, and then him teaming up with Triple H, and then the whole invasion shit after this. The match was brilliant, but after this, WWE went fucking downhill with Austin, especially seeing as you had Vince McMahon and Austin, the best feud of the Attitude Era, and all of a sudden now they're friends. And it's just like, especially also after Triple H just had that great match with Austin and No Way Out, the 3 Stages of Hell match, and then they're teaming up after this.
Well, the thing about this is that Vince McMahon, of course, is going to get whatever he can to get what he wants. Yeah. He must have wanted Stone Cold on his side. The thing about this is that when I looked at it, I was thinking maybe just another Austin match would have been awesome. Vince McMahon get involved, I guess.
It gave it that drama, didn't it? But it was the wrong decision.
The thing is, it did follow other storylines, so I guess it followed on. But the thing is, it's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see just a clean match between the two. Especially
seeing as the fact you've had the McMahons involved in the last 3 main events. And I know this adds drama, but you just took Austin, who was the biggest babyface of the Attitude Era, and kind of defined that Attitude Era in his rivalry with McMahon. and then you align him with Vince McMahon in Texas, his hometown. Like, goddamn, like I said, this match was really, really good. I enjoyed this match, but I didn't enjoy like the Austin character afterwards, or the way he teamed up with Triple H, or the Invasion storyline as well. Which, especially with Vince McMahon just buying WCW, and I don't know, the ending. Now looking back at it, which we can do in this WrestleMania review series, looking back at it, it kind of hurts it a little bit.
Yeah, true, because with Stone Cold Steve Austin, everyone loves him, because obviously he's been built up so great over the years. And for this character change may have damaged him, but he still had the fans, but in our point of view, it just wasn't the best move for Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, and especially with WCW being bought by Vince, you kind of had the feeling that Vince could just do whatever he liked now, especially with all the competition gone. WWE really now had no competition, that is why they did the brand extension thing. So you just thought this was Vince, Austin, the storyline to it was, Austin was selling his soul to win the title, and Vince was aligning himself with Vince McMahon, but why take the biggest babyface of your Attitude Era and then turn him heel and then do this bullshit with him afterwards? I don't know. That just hurts it for me a little bit. Still a great match, but do you have anything more to say about this match, NJ? Because it was pretty classic.
All I'm going to say is that, again, when you put these two in a match, you know you're going to get a good match, a good way to finish WrestleMania.
The best match these two had out of the three. Would you agree?
There was a lot going in this match. It's just Vince maybe ruined it a bit, but the match itself, very awesome.
Yeah, and this was essentially now, especially with WCW being bought and the Invasion storyline coming, this was essentially the end of the Attitude Era, which is probably the most, apart from the Golden Era, probably the biggest drawing era we had in WWF's history. So this WrestleMania could, especially when we looked at 40 and we looked at the historical significance, and this one kind of ended the Attitude Era and really ruined Austin's character. And it was never the same after this, was he really?
Well, with it ending the WrestleMania, the Attitude Era, it would happen with White WrestleMania, because it made 17 a huge WrestleMania. It was so big to happen on it. So it has a good point, but at the same time, the Attitude Era just went.
Yeah, exactly, which was the best, one of the best eras we had in the WWE, especially even the Golden Era as well. But overall thoughts on this pay-per-view then, and we'll grade it afterwards, I guess. Just give me your thoughts on this pay-per-view. I know we've gone on a long time now, but fuck it, we want to talk about this.
It's true, I'm very satisfied with this. Every match, the ordering maybe could have been changed, but the matches, very entertaining. The length was pretty reasonable for this. It all added up nicely. We had matches that made history, matches that got people interested and led on to things after WrestleMania. So overall, I'm really satisfied with it. It's just there was some changes that could have been done.
Yeah, I mean, this WrestleMania seemed to have everything. You had a classic, really dramatic main event. You had a great brawl in Undertaker, Triple H. You had a great spot match in the tag team title match. You had a great technical match in Benoit and Kurt Angle. You had so much going there, especially. And then you had the opener with Jericho and Regal and stuff. But I mean, this WrestleMania was a really, really good show. I would be really tempted to give this an A grade. This is an A show for me. The only thing that bugs me is what happened after this WrestleMania and the historical significance it has, which kind of, in my opinion, it's an A show. But then you look at it and you're like, God damn, what 14 did was brilliant, but then what 17 did wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what I'm going to say is that I'm going to give this an A just because the matches we've got, the things that happen in the actual show, if we give out what's afterwards, WrestleMania itself, this does deserve an A just because the amount of things that they put effort into this WrestleMania. Yeah, so it gets an A grade from us both, but at the same time, with the historical significance like WrestleMania 14 was a great high for WrestleMania, was a great improvement for WWE. This represented a little decline, especially with the WCW being bought, WWE's main competition going down the drain, and all the bullshit which happened afterwards with Austin, two-man power trip, alliance. You know what I mean? It never really was the same again, was it? But I mean, it's an A show. It just has real bad implications afterwards, which could really be to grade it down. But I really did enjoy the WrestleMania, as it has such a place in my heart. So I'm definitely going to give this one an A, despite its downfalls going towards the end. Any final thoughts before we wrap up this video then? No, what I'm going to say is that I think the WWE should do the whole bringing in the band to play a theme tune at WrestleMania, because that was just, I know it's just for Triple H, but it was something added on. So getting there to see wrestlers and then Motorhead. It was a complete sports entertainment event, basically. It had a lot of things. Yeah, there's a lot going into WrestleMania that could be a good big thumbs up. Yep. So there we go. That's WrestleMania 17. We do a lot from us. We're approaching the 25-minute mark now. So I'll leave you guys. If you've watched this far, very well done. Leave your comments on this WrestleMania because I know you guys will have a lot down in the comment section below. And give us your thoughts on what happened after WrestleMania and how that changed your views on it as well, if it did. And NJ. No overbooked finish in this one, just do a nice plain outro. People, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. There's so much to say about this.
Oh, yeah.
Say your good points, and if you have any bad points, just share them with us so we can talk about it in the comment section below. And that has been it from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. What's up? Till next time, people. Goodbye.